Hey guys, my name is Tamika and I am your personal hair coach. So today I'm going to be talking about finding a simple hair regimen. I know that's one of the number one requests that I get from people is how do I find a regimen that suits my hair needs? But before I get started, let me tell you about a few additional things that are up and coming soon. So I'm going to be doing a webinar, which is going to be like an A to Z, like start to finish class about everything that you need to know about getting your hair healthy, growing your hair. And that's going to be on December 8th. I'll put a link below with more information about that so you can go ahead and sign up for that class. It's going to be really, really, really good. I've done these in the past and they were successful and people learned a lot. And I just want to present this to you again so I can bring more people on so more people can be successful at having healthy hair and growing their hair. Because you guys, if you don't know it, I love helping people grow their hair. I'm so very passionate about it. Also, at the beginning of the year, I'm going to be starting a paid Facebook group, and the group is going to have full-length classes, not demos, full-length classes in there on different hair topics. I'm also going to be going in and doing live Q&A from time to time in that class, and I'm going to be giving you guys more information about that when it gets a little bit closer towards that time. Also, I'm doing Insta consults, and I've actually had people sign up for those, and they've been successful. So if you guys want to just ask me your burning hair questions before I do any webinars or any other classes, and you just have questions that you want answered now, the instant consults are great for that. I'll also put the link below so you can go ahead and sign up for those if that's something that you're interested in. But I do encourage you to do that because the instant consults are geared exactly towards what your hair needs, not like the masses. So sign up if you have burning hair questions that you want to ask me. It's worth it. Okay guys, so I'm done with my shameless plugs, but don't forget to go on ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. That way you can stay updated on everything that I have going on in my classes and on my channel. And also sign up for the email list below, so that'll keep you updated on things too. That way as soon as a video hits, I'll send an email out to everybody and other information, and you guys can get the information on that. So it just keeps you updated on everything that's going on with me and my channel and all of the classes that I'm going to be doing. Okay, so enough rambling, and let's just go on ahead and get into helping you find a simple hair regimen. Okay, so the first thing I want to say to everybody who is watching is whenever you're finding a regimen, I stress that you keep it simple. If you guys have been following me for a while, or if you're new to me, if you've seen any of the pictures, my before and afters, all the customers I've helped grow their hair to long lengths, one thing that I want you to know is that in my salon, and me helping people grow their hair, I always keep everything as simple as possible. I feel like the more things that you add to a regimen, the more complicated you make it, it kind of makes you not want to do it. And it's just really you adding a bunch of things that aren't necessary for you to do to your hair to get your hair to grow healthier and longer and all that stuff. So I stress to you guys to go on ahead and keep your regimen simple, 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 simple. It's so very important. Can't stress that enough. Another thing you're going to need to do is you need to assess your hair. You need to assess what your hair's needs are. Is your hair dry? Is it damaged? Is it broken? Does it seem like it's not growing? Assess the porosity of it. I actually did a video about finding your hair porosity in the last class, and I'll go ahead and put a link below for that so you can go ahead and watch that and figure out what your hair porosity is. But finding out what your hair porosity is going to be very, very, very important in determining exactly what you're going to need for your hair, because different porosities need different things. And so make sure whenever you're figuring out like what you need for your hair, be honest with yourself. Like stuff like, how long has it been since you had a trim? Are you scared of trimming? Is your hair super dry? Is your hair breaking? When you look at it, does it look dull? Does it look dry? Just all types of things. Just really, really like examine your hair and just like keep in mind exactly what the state of your hair is, and that'll help you find exactly what the products that your hair needs. Because if you're not honest with yourself, if you're, looking at the ends of your hair and you haven't had a trim in a while and they're looking a little bit frayed, and your hair may be long, but you're holding on to like the frayed ends for the sake of length, then you might want to take a look at that and be like, well, maybe I'll start my regimen off by getting a nice fresh trim or cut. Very important. So to do those type of things is very important. Starting off fresh if you need to. Unfortunately, Sometimes you gotta do it. And in the long run, it helps more than it hinders. Trust me, trust me, trust me. I've seen many people start off fresh and their hair flourished after the first start. So think about that. Also, just kind of take a look at like the regimen that you have going on now, and you don't necessarily have to find like a new regimen. You can always kind of tweak the regimen that you have. If that regimen was like going in the right direction, you might have, like 80% of it right, but 20% of it needs to be tweaked, and you can tweak the 20% and get your regimen to where it needs to be. And so that's what I'm here for, to help you guys, even do the tweaks if you need it. Okay, so finding a regimen is not as complicated as most people think. It really only consists of a few simple things that you need to do on a regular basis, on a routine, to get your hair thriving, healthy, and growing. So basically it's shampoo, deep condition, moisturize, protect, and trim. Those are really the things that you need to focus on whenever you're trying to find a regimen for your hair. If you try to do any of these outside things, a lot of times it can backfire because you tend to focus on, those things like faster hair growth methods and, hair bandwagons and stuff like that, and it winds up backfiring. Our hair loves routine, so if you can find a hair regimen, a routine that your hair loves, and you just stick with it, you will find that over time, before you know it, your hair will be doing this, growing longer and longer and longer without you having to do too much stuff to your hair. You don't need a lot of stuff in your hair regimen. I cannot stress that enough. Well, one of the things you need to do is find a really good shampoo. A shampoo that your hair likes, a shampoo for the condition that your hair is in, a shampoo for color treated hair, or a shampoo for relaxed hair, or a shampoo for natural hair. Or if your hair doesn't like silicones, you need to find like shampoo that's silicone free. If your hair doesn't like sulfates, you need to find shampoo that's sulfate free. I tend to lean towards finding shampoos that are for dry and damaged hair. And just because the shampoo is for dry and damaged hair doesn't necessarily mean that your hair is dry or damaged. I really find the shampoos that are made for dry and damaged hair, they tend to have a lot of the moisturizing ingredients and the protein ingredients that your hair needs. And so it feeds your hair a lot better than just like regular shampoos. It has like a little added extra, and they tend not to like strip your hair. But one thing I want to say too is, before I like go any deeper into telling about finding a hair regimen, I also want to say that anytime you start a new hair regimen and you start using any new products, you do need to make sure that you start off with a clean slate, meaning that all of the oils and products and buildup and things needs to be removed completely from your hair before you use any new products. Because if you don't do that, then the products that you choose on your hair, they might not work as well as they would if your hair was completely clean. So just make sure your hair is completely clean. And one thing I always tell people is that you can use clarifying shampoos, which is my favorite to clarify hair, but there's also other ways you can clarify hair, but clarifying shampoo is my favorite way to clarify hair. It's easy, it's not time consuming, and it gets the job done. And I have like favorite products for that, and I also have favorite products for everything. And I'm going to do like, probably the next class, I'm going to do a whole video about like product recommendations, things like that. That way you can be sure that you can kind of have something to go off of. Now, just because I recommend the products, I mean you have to use them, but these are things I like to use on my hair, my kids' hair, and then all of my customers. So I'll do a video in the next class about product recommendations. Just make sure that you find a good shampoo that doesn't make your hair feel stripped and helps your hair feel moisturized. And that'll make the next step a lot easier, the next step in your regimen a lot easier. So finding conditioners would be the next thing you need to do. And that one can be a really tough one because your hair porosity will really determine what type of conditioners your hair needs. Knowing your hair porosity can help you determine what conditioner is best for your hair, whether it be conditioners that are highly moisturizing, conditioners that have a little bit of moisture and protein balance, or conditioners that are protein only and need to be followed up with moisturizing conditioners. So really, if you haven't figured out what your hair porosity is, figure it out, because that is going to really help you find a conditioner that's perfect for your hair. I know sometimes finding conditioners can be trial and error because everybody has different hair needs. Some people's hair is extremely damaged. They need conditioners that build the hair up, and some people, their hair is really dry and they need like moisturizing conditioners. But you really have to know like the state of your hair, the condition of your hair, the characteristics of your hair, the porosity of your hair to figure out exactly what type of conditioners that you need for your hair. I do find that super dry hair does need like heavy moisturizing conditioners, a lot. And hair that is low porosity needs the same, but it's just a different method of you applying those conditioners to your hair as compared to somebody who has medium porosity or high porosity hair. And high porosity hair tends to need lots more protein, lots more protein with a moisture balance. So it just really depends on what your porosity is or your hair characteristics are, and that will help you determine like what type of conditioner is best for your hair. So after you find the shampoo that your hair loves, and after you find the conditioners that your hair loves, and there might be multiple conditioners for like different things that you're doing, because from time to time I know that hair might need moisture a lot, but you have to balance it out with protein from time to time. So you might be doing like moisture conditioners for like 6 weeks, and then you'll do like a protein treatment or a protein conditioner at that 6 week mark. So it really just depends on what your hair needs, and that varies too. So that's more like a trial and error thing. Once you get to know your hair, you'll know exactly the point in time when you'll need to do like a moisturizing conditioner as compared to a protein conditioner. So the conditioning step, I believe, must always be a deep conditioning step. So if you shampoo your hair once a week, then I feel like you need to be deep conditioning once a week. If you shampoo your hair twice a month or every 2 weeks, you need to be deep conditioning every 2 weeks, and so on and so forth. I feel like every time you do a shampoo on your hair, then you by all means need to be doing the deep conditioning. Now, if you're a co-washer, that does not apply to you because you're not going to be deep conditioning every single day. If you're co-washing, that's totally not necessary, but we're not talking about co-washers. We're talking about people who stretch their shampoos out a week or 2 weeks or sometimes even a month. So one thing I want to say about deep conditioning is I firmly believe there is no such thing as a deep conditioner. Like when you go in the store and there's a product on the shelf and it says deep conditioner, that's a no-go. I just think it's all propaganda because deep conditioning is not a conditioner. It's a process. It's a process of applying conditioner onto your hair and then putting a plastic cap on your hair and sitting under a dryer to process to expand the cuticles to allow the conditioner to absorb very well, or you can do this with a hydration or steam treatment. But a product that says deep conditioner on there is really there, probably has the exact same products as another conditioner. They probably make it just a little bit thicker to fool you or whatever, and then charge you like twice the amount of money. It's totally not necessary. I've seen products say deep conditioner on there, and I pass them by because I know that it's definitely a trick. So just save your money, and me personally, I would say steer clear of them. But if you want to go ahead and use it and you think it's better, by all means, yeah, do that. There are varying conditioners for varying situations, but deep conditioning is not a conditioner, it's a process. I can't stress that enough. So a lot of people feel like they need a leave-in on their hair. It really depends on like your hair per se. I really don't feel like the leave-in is a necessary step, but if you do, make sure that you get something that's really light, something that's not going to weigh your hair down. There's lots of like light creamy leave-ins that you can use. I've purchased them, before, and from time to time I do use them, but like 9 times out of 10, if not 9.9 times out of 10, I'm leaving that step out. I find that a lot of times people like to use leave-ins in place of deep conditioning or conditioning per se, or if they use the wrong conditioner on their hair and the hair feels brittle, they like to use a leave-in conditioner to make it feel less brittle. So you just kind of got to figure out exactly what is the right conditioner for your hair so you don't have to use leave-ins, or if you feel like you have to have a leave-in, by all means use it. I'm not dead set against it. It's just that a lot of times leave-ins, people use leave-ins because they've used the wrong conditioner. They need to leave-in to soften the hair or make it feel less brittle or stop breaking, whatever it is. So if you are going to apply any type of heat to your hair, whether it be blowing it dry, whether it be straightening it, anything that applies direct heat towards your hair, you're going to have to find a really good heat protectant. You're going to have to find a heat protectant that is great for your hair, a light one, a heavy one, a silicone one, a no silicone one, whatever your hair needs. You need to figure out the type of heat protectant your hair needs. If you have finer hair, you're going to need a lighter heat protectant. If you have thicker hair, you're going to need a heavier heat protectant. If you're on like a no cone thing, then you're going to need a no silicone heat protectant. I personally prefer heat protectants with silicones, but it's really more about personal preference as far as that is concerned. But if you're going to be applying any type of direct heat to your hair, you definitely need a heat protectant to keep it from being damaged or singed with whatever heat implement that you're using, whether it be a flat iron or a straightening comb or a blow dryer or anything like that. Make sure you find a great heat protectant. And of course, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to be doing a product recommendation video in the next class, so you guys will see the products I love to use and the recommendations I have for like different hair types and stuff like that. Well, not hair types, because I'm really not into hair type thing. I'm really more into like hair characteristics and hair porosity, and I am into hair types. But it's like you tend to like default to the hair type thing for whatever reason, because that's what we've been taught. But I'm trying to like reteach myself to not say hair types and say hair porosity or hair characteristics. Y'all don't think I'm crazy. I'm really not. So whether natural, relaxed, or color treated, you're going to need products that are going to help put moisture back into your hair, especially if you're stretching out your shampoos and deep conditioning. Now, if you're relaxed, you're not going to be using anything water-based, because if you do, then that's not cool. If you're a straight natural, you're not going to be using anything water-based, because that is not cool. It's going to cause the hair to swell, and then your hair won't be straight again. So if you're relaxed, it'll still cause the hair to swell and your hair won't be straight again. So if you're relaxed natural, you're going to have to find some type of leave-in, or not watery leave-in, but some type of leave-in or oil or something to apply to your hair on a regular basis. I would say 2, 3, 4, 5. I prefer daily times a week to apply to your hair if you're a straight natural or relaxed. You need something that's oil-based or silicone-based or something to apply to your hair to, keep it nice and moisturized. Now, the same goes along with color-treated hair too, color-treated straightened hair. But if you're color-treated and natural, that will go into the same category as natural hair, which I'm going to talk about. So for natural hair, if you're wearing your hair in natural styles, of course, I'm pretty sure everybody's heard of the LCO method. You need to find like some type of moisturizing ingredients that's going to keep your hair moist on a regular basis. The LCO method is great because it really gets all the moisture in there and it gets sealed in, and you don't have to moisturize your hair every single day. But I would recommend doing it at least 2 to 3 times a week if you're doing the LCO method and you're natural or natural color treated. Sprays, creams, oils. Nice light sprays, rich, thick, creamy oils. Rich, thick, creamy creams, and then nice light oils work really good for like a liquid cream oil routine. So that's like one of the number one things that you need to do as far as finding a hair regimen is after you find your shampoos, conditioners, leave-ins, and then your other products, find nice products that are going to keep your hair moisturized in between shampoo and deep condition days. That's very important. And there's lots and lots and lots of choices, y'all. Sometimes it's overwhelming with all the choices that we have, as far as finding moisturizing products. But you got to dig through and find what your hair likes. That's all I got to say. Now, every part of finding a hair regimen is important. But if you are trying to grow your hair to longer lengths, this can be very super important, super, super important. You got to protect your hair. Finding protective styles that work great for what you're trying to do. I'm not talking about semi-protective styles to get your hair off the shoulder. I'm talking about protective styles like braids, weaves, wigs, buns, any type of updos to get your hair away from the elements, off your shoulders, away from your book bag, away from your purse, away from the car seat, that you're going to have to put into your regimen to help your hair get to those longer lengths. Because protective styles, they will keep your hair moisturized longer, and also protect the ends from the elements and protect them from just being rubbed up against everything and breaking. So you got to find protective styles that suit your needs. I find that a lot of people are starting to like really steer towards wearing wigs. So that might be something you want to look into. And if you don't like wigs, maybe get your hair braided up. I don't know, just find like some type of protective style that is great for what you're trying to do. Now, if you're not really into like retaining length and growing your hair and stuff like that, by all means, you still have to protect your hair because you don't want it to break and all that stuff. But I feel like if you've gotten to your goal length and you don't want to grow your hair anymore, or if you just don't want to grow your hair, all you just want to have healthy hair, then you, from time to time, you still do have to protect the ends of your hair and your hair, because it still will rub up against things if it's longer and it will still break. So just be mindful that you have to find protective styles from time to time if you just want to keep your hair healthy and you're not on the grow. But if you're on the grow, then you need to be in protective styles, like I would say 100% of the time. Okay. The last thing I want to talk about as far as finding a hair regimen is trimming. This is such a touchy subject for a lot of people. A lot of people are super emotionally attached to their hair. A lot of people want to hold on to length for the sake of length. A lot of people think if they trim their hair that it won't grow. Just all types of things. Trimming is so important. Any of the healthy hair makeovers that I've done, any of the clients that I've serviced, as long as they were trimming their hair when I asked them to do it, their hair did fantastic. But the people who want to prolong trims or go long periods of time without trims or get a trim and not cut as much hair as need to be cut, those are the ones I tend to see don't get to their goals as fast as they can. It's so funny because your mind is working against what your hair needs. So what you're thinking, what your mind is wanting to do is not good for what your hair needs. So you kind of like making everything backfire. Like the no trimming is making it backfire. So get a really good trim schedule for your hair. Some people, it's every 8 weeks. Some people, it's every 12 weeks. Some people can stretch the trims out 6 months. But just don't go too long without trimming your hair. Okay, Siri, I'm not talking about child development and baby sleep. I don't need it. Back to trimming. So make sure that you're getting yourself on a trim schedule that suits your hair needs. Now, one thing I do with my customers is that everybody's on a different trim schedule. The better you take care of your hair in between trims, the less you have to get trimmed, or the further you can go without having to trim your hair. So get a good trim regimen, or trim your hair as often as you need it, whether it be every 8 weeks or every 6 months, or however often it is. Trim your hair, because you'll find that you'll retain more length and your hair will be healthier and love you for trimming your hair on a regular basis. Please. So now that I've told you guys all the steps you need to find a simple hair regimen, go on ahead and go out there and do what you need to do. Find a regimen. And also look out for the next class, which is going to be hair product recommendations. Go on ahead and sign up for the email list so you can stay updated on all the things I have in store for you guys. And go on ahead and sign up for the webinar that I'm having on December 8th, because you're going to get everything all into one masterclass. So exciting. And I'm also going to be doing like a Q&A session on the webinar as well. So after the webinar, if you have any questions about anything I've said, then you can go on ahead and ask those questions live on the webinar. And so I'll put the information about that below. Okay, hit the subscribe button and notification bell. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next class. Love you.